Hi everybody, welcome to ABC Gluten Free. Thank you for joining us today. If you clicked on over from Facebook, thank you very much. We're going to be doing our full episode of Football Finger Foods. Now, if you're a football fan, like we are, F-U-T-B-O-L, football, then you'll be possibly watching soccer this weekend. If you're a football fan, F-W-O-O-T-B-A-L-L, then you might be watching nothing this weekend, right? Because this weekend there's no games.
What?
Next week is the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Not this Sunday, next Sunday is the Super Bowl. So if you're cheering for the Patriots or the Rams, it won't matter because these football finger foods are perfect for all of your fans. We're going to get started on making the basic dough crust first, and then we're going to share with you all of the things that we can put inside, on top, and we can make ahead of time to get ready. So this is my beautiful helper, Sophia, and Jeremiah will be here in just a minute. He's taking a little bit of a break. We'll see.
He went surfing early, so...
Yeah, he went surfing early, so... Poor little baby who had a crazy morning surfing, getting crushed. Were you getting crushed? You were getting crushed. He said he was getting crushed. You couldn't see his face. He's like... That was funny. Jeremiah, come on in, honey. Come on in with us and help us. So we're going to get started on making our football finger foods. Now this is probably my favorite type of food. Football finger foods, fried foods, appetizers. So we hope you BYON.
Bring your own
Sophia?
napkin.
Bring your own napkin because this is definitely a drooling day. Even though it's cold and blustery outside in New Jersey, you can stay warm and cozy inside and have your fried food and eat it too. So first we're going to get started on the crust. Now the crust is a basic pie crust. And the reason why I say that is because this can be very versatile. This can be used for anything. This can be used for your little hot dogs. This can be used for the footballs that we're going to be making. It can be used for a regular pie. You can make like a tamale pie or something like that. But it's a very simple recipe and we're going to go quick. We're going to go quick. Sophia, come on over and get started with this. Alright, so what we have here is we have a cup and a half of our gluten-free flour. Now this is just a blend that we put together. Sophia's going to grab the butter, but you can use your butter replacer. And she's also going to get us some ice water because that's what we're going to need to make our pie crust. So a cup and a half of our flour. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of baking powder. It's a little bitty teaspoon there. And we're going to use some butter. You got it? Well, we're going to use about 4 ounces of butter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eyeball it. And Sophia, maybe just cut this in half and then put that half in there. Normally you want your butter cold and you can grate it right in there and make like a sand-like texture. But Jeremiah, actually, would you want to go run and get us a butter in the fridge? We're going to get a Kerrygold in the fridge. We'll use the cold one. This isn't cold, right? Yeah. Okay, let it out. So Kerrygold is one of our favorite butters. It's from Ireland, from grass-fed cows. Thank you to Rose so much for all the beautiful samples and the fridge products that you sent for us to use on the show. We appreciate Kerrygold being one of our fridge friends for many, many years now, and we just love their product. It's the only butter that Sophia and I can eat without having dairy problems. And we're very grateful for that, and we're grateful for the farmers and the families in Ireland that take care of their cows and feed them grass 360 days a year. Yeah, put that away, unless you want to keep it. We won't need that. We need a sharp knife. So all we're going to do is we have our baking powder in here. We have our cup and a half of flour. I'm going to do about a cupful of apple cider vinegar. Really just a little bit.
Right here?
No. See how it says tablespoons?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3. Go right there and cut.
Right here?
Yeah. Because it's all the way across, it's about 4 ounces of butter. And Sophia is going to cut that up and cut it into the flour. Now, we used a food processor earlier today. 1, 2, 3, and you're all done. And while you're doing that, actually, I'll get the ice water, okay? Thank you, Jeremiah, for getting us our Kerrygold butter. We have our stash in the fridge. It smells like heaven. Just love butter. I mean, when you have allergies and, you know, originally yeah, it's a good idea. You can't have dairy or you have to eliminate things and then you do the elimination diet and then you kind of put things back in and you try it for 3 days. You know, you get so nervous, but having Kerrygold is just really such a blessing for us because we can have butter on our toast, we can have butter in our, watch that knife, Missy. We can have butter in our pie crust, but if you can't have dairy, I would encourage you to maybe use an Earth Balance or something like that, or a coconut butter, whatever is right for your dietary restrictions. So we don't want to tell people what to do because everybody's body is different and we cannot tell you what you should be eating. You have to figure that out. So Sophia's just cutting in the butter, and Grandma Josephine would be very proud you're using your hands. You get right in there, and then she's gonna crumble it into there.
Well, I do have half of her name. So.
Yes, you do.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah. You can tell her your name. You can tell them why.
What do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
My middle name is
Sophia.
Joseph.
My husband's grandmother was called Josephine, and my grandmother was called Antoinette. So Sophia's middle name is Josette. So she has a little bit of Josephine and a little bit of Antoinette in her. And this is Grandma Josephine for sure. All right?
It's fine.
Although Grandma Annie did make lots of beautiful things. If you caught our show with homemade macaroni, that was my grandmother's recipe. We just had to tweak it a little bit for our allergies, but obviously that homemade macaroni is something you just cannot beat. If you've never made it before, I would encourage you to go back to that episode and write down that recipe and get busy on that because homemade pasta is just fantastic. You're going to start crumbling, or you can use the pastry blender. You want to crumble, right? What is it? You don't like it? You want to just use your hands? All right, so she's going to get that pie crust ready, and then I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about what we have here. We have chicken sausage, which is just Italian seasoned. We found this in the grocery store, actually. We were looking for the little hot dogs, something that I could actually have since I'm restricted from having beef. These fit the bill. We also have Martin's specialty sausage ground pork, which is fantastic. Thank you, Gabrielle, for sending us this beautiful ground pork. It has a little bit of sage in it. We're going to be making footballs with that, and Sophia will show you just what we mean by that. All right, so she's got that going. She's doing a great job. You want to crumble, not squeeze. Crumble. When you start to squeeze it, you squeeze the butter and you make it real, real, real hot. When you just crumble it, you don't want to get it too heated because then the butter will start to melt. And that's why we actually use the ice water when we're binding it together. You ready? You ready for water? Huh? And I've got a fork for you just in case. Ready? It's going to be cold. No. We're going to use about a half a cup of ice water. Sophia's going to... Is it cold? Jeremiah, could you grab us the plastic wrap? Once we make this, we're going to put it in plastic wrap and we're going to refrigerate it for about 20 minutes. And then this is where you can get your prep done before your football party and all your fans come. Then you can have, thank you, honey. Then you can have this all set to go. And we're going to show you some tips and tricks. Of course, we have to give you tips and tricks to get your party off to a good start because you don't want to be in the kitchen the whole time. You need more water? You don't want to be in the kitchen the whole time when your friends are, you know, hanging out, having a good time. Unless your kitchen's like ours, when I could see the game right from here, then you maybe don't mind being in the kitchen the whole time. But a lot of the times I have to tell the kids, turn up the TV, I can't hear it because I'm in the kitchen cooking. So if you're having your big Super Bowl party, we want you to be prepared. We want you to have options for everybody. So we're doing a chicken, we're doing a pork, we're doing a vegan version, and we're also doing a vegetable. We're going to do an artichoke that's going to go in a nice batter and get fried. It is super delicious, and this really, even people that say they don't like artichokes, love this. All right, you're all set. So she had I'll take it from here. You want to go wash off your hands? Well, get it into a ball and then put it into the plastic then, okay? Because we have to get moving. So when you're making your football finger foods, you want to really progressively get them done. So maybe one day you're going to make this, the next day you're going to make the footballs, and then the next day you're going to make the mozzarella sticks. You can fry some, bake some, and then you can have some that don't need to be fried or baked at all. Yeah, maybe just a tiny, tiny bit drop of water. So you want your dough to come together nice, and if you have it in the food processor, it literally takes 2 minutes. You throw everything in there, you pulse it, you drizzle the water in a little bit until it comes together in a ball, and then you'll have your pie crust dough. Now roll it around in the bowl for mommy. There you go. And then we're going to reuse this bowl for something else. So you go ahead and wash up and I'll take it from here, okay? I will get it. How about that?
For my fingers.
Oh, we'll take some of it. We don't want all of it. All right, go ahead. All right, so get all the dough out of the bowl. Just kind of roll it around in there. Pick up the pieces. It's a really nice soft dough. We're going to just put that right into the plastic wrap, and we're going to roll it up. And this is when you can kind of really manipulate it. Make it into that disc. And you can see the little flecks of butter in there. I don't know if you can see that. I see like a couple like really bright yellow pieces. And we're going to put that into the refrigerator for about 20 minutes. So if you put that in the fridge. All right. She's going over to hug her brother before he falls asleep. You got to stay awake, Jeremiah. We need you. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to form our footballs. We're going to put them on a, in a minute, okay? We're going to form our footballs first. Jeremiah, could you give me that baking sheet over there? Oh, I'll use this for later. Thank you, honey. So you could take this too, Jeremiah, if you don't mind. Take this out. Thank you. So I always cover my baking sheets with plastic wrap or parchment. Now the parchment I like to save for baking. The plastic I like to use for when I'm refrigerating or freezing something. It helps to release the item from the pan. Just put it on, honey. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So now that we've got it covered with plastic wrap, we're going to get started on the meat. So for the meat, I just want to talk to you a little bit about the meat. We have a nice ground pork from Martin's Specialty Sausage. Gabrielle ground this specially for us, and she put a little bit of sage in it. Today we're going to try Serious Foodie. Thank you to Anna, right? Anna Stebbins. And she sent us this, and it has a very interesting ingredient in it, which I want to talk to you about. It's called Grains of Paradise. Now, a lot of you would be like, oh, you start to freak out because it's a grain, right? Because this is not, we don't, you know, you want to be careful with the grains that you eat when you're gluten-free. It's actually not a grain. It's close to cardamom. It's in the same family.
It's a flower.
Sometimes they call it the alligator spice. And it has a citrusy and peppery flavor. So it's going to go really nice with our footballs and whatever we decide to dunk it in, which we'll have to tell them later. So we're going to put 1 teaspoon of this into our sausage mixture. Go ahead, Sophia.
Ooh.
Smells good, right? It smells delicious, right? It's got pepper in it. It's got sea salt, a little bit of sugar, lemon zest, cherry, and anise, and garlic.
And
it smells
and
amazing.
Too.
And the grain of paradise, which is an African spice. Go ahead, you mix it. Yeah. And that African spice, which I was talking to you a little bit about on Facebook, is Aframomum meliguenta.
It's frozen.
It's a species of the ginger family and pepper leg. And that's so interesting. It's really like what do you need? Your hands are too cool? That's okay, keep mixing.
My hands are cold.
That's what you get when you want to use your hands. Alright, so we're just going to mix that up. And we're going to start to make little football-sized patties, balls, whatever you want to call them. Go ahead, baby girl. You got this. I need my stabilizer. I forgot to get my stabilizer out. Shoot. All right, are you done? You done? Good girl. So on the back burner, I'm actually going to let Jeremiah start to cook a marinara sauce. Our marinara sauce is going to be for our mozzarella sticks, which are technically not dairy. We're going to be using the Daiya cheese that we have here. But if you can have dairy, you're going to have to make your own mozzarella sticks because, as you know, gluten-free people out there, you know, it's hard to find mozzarella sticks that we can have. And if they do have them, they have so much stuff in them that you just don't want to even be bothered. So what I'm doing is just rolling our ground pork with our spices into like a little football size. So basically like an oval. Jeremiah, can you open? You okay?
No.
Why not? What's the matter? He's tired. Should we feel sorry for him, everybody? Poor baby. He went surfing this morning. He was tired. Up
Okay.
Up all night. Tired. You want to excess, Bubby? You want an excess, buddy? Going right here for you. Look at all that. Beautiful excess. Jeremiah, welcome to the show, honey. Thank you for joining us. Are you ready for football
Thank you for having me.
Are you ready for football finger foods?
No, I don't watch football.
Football, was it? Football.
You guys didn't say it right.
Football.
Football.
It's not football.
Football.
It's not football. It's soccer.
It's not
We're
soccer.
America. It's soccer.
It's not soccer. It's football.
No, it's
You gonna watch Liverpool on
The game of
Wednesday?
soccer.
Are you gonna watch Liverpool on Wednesday? Unless he's working, then he won't be able to watch it. All right, so we're rolling these into little footballs. And I guess technically if we made them into little round circles, it would be a soccer ball. So we could do that too, depending on which kind of football you want to watch.
Game of soccer.
Soccer. So Jeremiah, you're going to cook
Is
marinara
this too
sauce
much?
over there? What are you
I
doing?
think that's too
You
much.
taking the excess? Okay, baby. So Jeremiah's going to make the marinara sauce. He's just going to open up a can of
Second.
crushed tomato or tomato puree. Put a little bit of, hold on a second. Put a little bit of spices in it, a little bit of garlic, salt and pepper, and then let that simmer. And I have the oven on 375 in case I wanted to bake some of these, because sometimes you have something in the fryer, something in the oven, and it just makes it a lot easier for you that you can cook everything at the same time. Jeremiah, you're going to make, oh, you're giving her a sip with a nice brother, dragon fruit. We don't usually
I'm gonna
share.
wash this with
don't-
bleach.
Oh, stop. We don't usually share our dragon fruit with anybody. Especially not you.
It's mine.
It's not yours, it's mine. Alright, open up that can and start cooking it on that back pan there. Thank you. Alright, so this should make about like 36 little footballs. So this should be enough for everybody to get like 2 to 3 bites. You want everybody to get 2 to 3 bites of everything.
Are those too small?
No, they're not too small. You can make them however you want.
Oh, I'm gonna
So we're
make
just
a
gonna-
really big one.
No, I don't want you to do that because then it'll take too long to cook. You want them similar size because you want them to cook at the same temperature at the same time. So we have our fryer on 375
Too big.
and we want to make sure, yeah, a little bit. We want to make sure that we can cook them all, God bless you, at the same time. And we want to make them like a little oval shaped so it kind of looks like a football. And Sophia does a really nice scoring on the pie crust.
I don't know if it looks like a football.
All right, we're going to put this to the side for now and we're going to get the ones out that are ready.
Okay.
All right. Let's wash our hands off. It's hot. Be careful. What? Here. All right. So we have some of the footballs ready, and we're gonna do the rest of this later. So maybe, Jeremiah, can you put that away for me, please? I'm gonna get the pie crust out because what we're gonna do next is we're gonna roll our footballs. We're gonna roll our little hot dogs, and then we're gonna start on our mozzarella sticks, which is gonna take a little bit of time, but we want to show you the process, how we make it, and how you can get it all done ahead of time. Freeze it on a pan like this, and then when they're frozen after 20 minutes, just throw them into a big baggie, and then you're ready to go for your football fans. All right, let me see. All right, so we did a little work ahead of time, and we have some footballs that are frozen, like that. That's not the way you throw a football, by the way. And then we have a little hot dog ready. So get the pie crust out and take this over. Maybe you can put this over my daddy. Our pie crust is really simple. If you need to rewind, go back, get your pen and paste. No. This right here. This. If you need to rewind, get your pen and paper and rewind and go back and check how we made the pie crust. We will post the recipe on Facebook for you so that you can make it yourself. You okay, buddy? You want to help us roll? Why not? You just want to eat?
I like touching the dough.
Why don't you like touching dough?
Because he doesn't.
So we have the dough and we cut it into slices, and actually, where'd my knife go? Okay, here's my knife. I'm going to slice it into the amount that we're going to use. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. 1 second. Let me cut this out. So first I take the dough. It's nice and cold, and I'm going to cut it in half.
That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed
Then
to
I'm going to cut each side in half, and then that side in half.
Like flat.
Look, I'm gonna flatten it.
And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, it doesn't.
I maybe need 2 more out of that, and then we're set to go. So we can roll it up and flatten it like the kids are doing in there.
Now you take a sausage.
A football. I take a football.
Football. You put right there.
So So we're using the same crust for the hot dogs that we're using for the footballs. And then we just kind of roll it around each other. We're going to seal those edges up tight so it doesn't get out. You want to make sure your sausages, your little hot dogs are dry so that the actual batter sticks to it.
Whichever one you want.
And then you can roll it like this. That's the football. So we roll it up just like that. You can roll the dough around it like you are when you were rolling the meat out. And then you get it ready. And if you have a seam, you want to put the seam side down. So when you freeze it, the seam closes up nice and tight. You guys doing a good job? Sophia's going to make a little football indentation on it. I love it. It was such a great idea, Sophia. And you always want to use your plastic wrap when you're flattening out your dough. It will help you so it doesn't stick. But really, it's very simple to just kind of take the dough, take the hot dog, take the dough, roll it up, and then kind of roll it in between your hands.
I don't know what a football looks like. I never know.
That's okay, honey. You don't need to know what a football looks like. All right, so we've got this one ready. And these are really easy. You can get the kids to help you. Get those all set up. It's too many? All right, we'll put our footballs here. And we'll put our little hot dogs. This one's done. We've got a nice indentation of a football on that. I think that's too many. How many slats are there? It's just like 3 or 4, isn't there? How many are there? Gluten-free Dad's laughing at me. How many stitches are there?
It's
not a grip.
What do you call it? The stitches? The stitching. You guys know what it's called? I don't know. I
How
don't
they
watch
sew
football.
the ball together.
Stitching, that's where they sew the ball together. I don't know how many there are.
Does anybody know how many there are in football?
5 or 4.
I'm going to have to Google it when I'm done here because I want to know.
More than that.
I don't know how many, but there's one down there, and then there's some on the side. That's all I need to know.
We don't even have a football to show.
I don't have a football. I have a soccer ball. You want to see my soccer ball? You saw it. I posted it on the picture. All right, so we're just getting these ready like this. We're rolling them up, and this is probably my favorite part, just rolling the little hot dog around. Rolling the little pie crust around the little sausages. I keep saying sausage. This is actually chicken sausage, but I'm calling it a hot dog. And this is sausage, but it's pork sausage. I'm calling it a football. So I'm probably confusing you and myself, but this is pork sausage. This is chicken
There's
hot
8.
dog. So we have a chicken, a pork. There's 8, really? And then we're gonna get ready for our mozzarella sticks. You guys can keep going with this, okay? Can you guys keep going with that? And Mommy's gonna get going on the sticks. Jeremiah, trade me
8.
that.
And
There's
they're
8 right
laces,
there.
not
That's
stitches.
way
Oh, laces. That's what it's called,
1, 2,
laces.
Laces
3,
out.
4,
Laces
5,
out.
6, 7, 8.
That's not what they say.
There's
Ooh.
8.
That's in soccer.
No, it's a movie.
Laces out.
It's a movie.
I don't know what he's talking about, but anyway. All right. Next, what we're gonna do is our mozzarella sticks. Now we're using our day of cheese. We have 3 bowls here because we're gonna have flour, a little bit of milk or mayo, and then we have our breadcrumbs, which are fantastic. We have our day of cheese sticks. They're making this new mozzarella stick now. If you guys haven't seen this yet, let me know if you like it, if you've tried it. It comes like this. We're gonna cut it into 4 pieces. If you want, you could cut it in half. You don't want to do that much work. You don't want to roll and make sure they're all covered in batter or dough or breadcrumbs, I mean. Then you can just cut them into larger portions, or you can do the whole thing. It's up to you. But when you're having a party and you have football finger foods, you want just like little bite-sized things. 1 or 2 bites at the most. Jeremiah, can you hand me the flour and that stuff? Thank you. So I've got the Really Great Food Company all-purpose flour. I'm going to first flour them. Then I'm going to get my wet product into there, and I've got my breadcrumbs from Josie's Coat of Oats. Thank you, Josie, for sending us some of those delicious breadcrumbs. Jeremiah, can you take this away from me, please? I don't need that, thank you. And I'll keep these 2 out. Now, if you wanted to, at this point, the wet could be an egg. It can be milk. It can be mayo. Whatever type of liquid ingredients you can have other than water. I'm trying to think. You could use an apple juice, something like that. Jeremiah, could you get the milk out for me, please?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and where'd the Kerrygold go? Oh, okay, I'll get it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up these little mozzarella sticks. Now, these we found in our local grocery store, which is exciting. They're starting to carry more and more things that we can have. But for our Kerry Golds, thank you to Rose for sending us a beautiful package of every goodie that Kerry Gold makes. Alright, so I'm going to do a little bit of milk in here. I'm using almond milk. You could use whatever. It's unsweetened. Put that away for me, please. But use whatever milk you can have, or sour cream, or whatever it is that you can use. Alright, so I'm going to take my stick, and I'm just going to cut it into 4 portions. Maybe I'll do it right here so you can see. Where'd my knife go? So I'm going to cut it one in half, and then again in half on one side, and again in half on the other side. They're about 1.5 inches long. Let me see. About 1 inch. So first we're going to roll it in the Really Great Food Company all-purpose flour. Then we're going to roll it into our wet ingredients, and you always want to keep one wet, one dry hand. Don't forget that. You don't want to mix them because it makes a mess. Alright. And then we're going to roll it into the milk, and then into the breadcrumbs. And make sure you get the ends, otherwise you're going to have a blowout. You don't want to have a blowout. And we're going to put those right onto the baking sheet. And all of this is going to go into the freezer for about 20 minutes. And if you don't do all of this artwork on your footballs, you'll be done a lot faster. But the kids are enjoying it. See how when you get them involved, they start to have fun, and then they start to be creative with the food. So we're going to just keep rolling this, and as soon as I get these few done, I'm going to move on to our next thing, which is going to be our Kerry Gold sticks. We're going to be using Kerry Gold Dubliner, which is one of our favorite cheeses.
Oh, that's
and it's a dairy that we can have.
Oh, that's hard.
And it's from grass-fed cows in Ireland, so we really appreciate that. Should I do another one of these real quick? No, you guys saw it. That's enough, right? I won't do another one. Jeremiah, can I have the Kerry Gold, please? Now, I have the spoons, but really, you need to use your hands for this. If you're like Jeremiah and you don't want to get your hands dirty, then you go ahead and use the spoon, but it's better to use your hands. So these guys are doing all kinds of decorations on the footballs. Doing a good design, guys. Make sure you get those hot dogs in there, too. We need some hot dogs. Oh, okay. Wow, that's awesome.
No.
Hopefully I can show you guys what she made. That's awesome.
No. It's a football player, but it doesn't look like one.
That's awesome. Alright, so I have Kerry Gold Dubliner. I'm going to cut it into a stick.
Football
That's
player.
awesome, Sophia.
Soccer player. Whatever
So
you
I've
want to
got
call it.
a long stick for the Kerry Gold so we can tell the difference between which is which. I'm going to roll it in the Really Great Food Company all-purpose flour. Then I'm going to roll it in the milk. And then I'm going to roll it in the breadcrumbs. Now this you might want to double dip because Kerry Gold is a thicker cheese. You might want to have a heavier coating on it, like so that you'll have equal amount of breadcrumbs and cheese. It's not going to be that mozzarella stick that like
There's no more
runs.
sausages.
What do you mean? There's some in the freezer. Alright, we'll just make them. So I'm going to leave those longer so we know the difference. One more I'm going to do, just so we have something to show you guys. And then we're going to get some things in the fryer as we make a nice, fresh, little addition to our football finger foods. Because you know, all this fried food, I love it to death. Love it, love it. But I want you guys to have something fresh. And I want you guys to have some vegetables. So I don't want you to miss out on your vegetables. So we've got our Kerry Gold Dubliner stick right there. That's going to be good. You're going to like that, right, babe? Yeah. Alright, so make sure you keep your 3 bowls. Because you're going to do, you know, you're going to want to do all of them. I'm going to make sure will you take this for me? Can you take this out for me? And you take this for me too. And I'll do more later. So we want to make sure we keep everything separate. We keep our all-purpose flour to dry off the ingredients and set it. We want to keep our milk separate, and we want to keep our Josie's Coat of Oats separate so that we're going to continue to do more. We're going to do about 24 of everything to 36. So everybody gets 3 to 4 bites, a little bit of everything, right? Depending on how many people you're having, then you're going to want to increase your production line. Got a nice production line going here. This is what kids are for. I call them my minions. How you guys doing? Good? Yes? No?
Mhm.
Maybe so, Jeremiah. You're doing a good job.
I always do a good job.
I know you do. What are you doing there? You rolling the dough? He's rolling the dough. Let's see. We got proof. He's rolling out the dough with his hands. Are you putting a football in there or are you putting a sausage?
There's no more football.
There are in the freezer.
Yeah, but there aren't
This looks
frozen.
more like a football than the thing.
Yeah, you're right. It does look like a football. This actually looks like a really good football Sophia made. Catch.
No, don't.
Don't throw it. Okay, I won't. But Sophia put a soccer player on there. That looks awesome.
It's supposed to be a football player.
But he has number 10 on him, which makes me think of soccer and Messi and you and Jeremiah and Sophia.
Because football uses higher numbers usually.
Football uses higher numbers? How do you know?
Like
Usually.
25
Why?
and
Because
stuff.
people pick the higher numbers. I don't
Oh.
know why I asked them.
They picked like their favorite number, right? Do they get to pick their number?
No, yeah, probably.
In soccer, you don't really. Well, I guess you
Whatever's
can now.
available. Soccer, you pick your number too.
You never used to be able to. It was just 1 through 11, and that was that, and you got what you got. You got your number by the position that you played. Now they get
don't
to
do
pick
that
their.
anymore.
They don't do that anymore.
Except on England.
Like the goalkeeper used to be 0, right, Jeremiah, or 1, and then everybody followed along and throughout the field.
Usually goalkeeper is 0 or 1.
Yeah, and now they get to pick whatever they want. Like,
No, most people stick to that, but they get to choose.
oh, okay. All right, these are gonna go into the freezer. Like I said, for about 20 minutes. Sophia, you can be in charge of that. Put them in the freezer. We're going to get rid of this. Jeremiah's gonna give me my West End, and we're gonna get cooking on our artichokes. I think you're gonna really like this recipe. It's easy. You could do it ahead of time. They're super delicious, and of course they're vegetarian and vegan, so you can pretty much everybody can have them. We're going to be using our triple dip, I call it, and that triple dip is going to be our Sophia, thank you. Is going to be our flour, our milk, and our breadcrumb, which I just made gluten-free Dad put away, but sorry, gluten-free Dad. So I'm going to get our West Bend started. And there's 2 things I want to talk to you about. And this is really like a preferential thing.
So flour.
Flour, good girl.
Flour first.
Flour is first over here. Good girl.
Milk.
Milk. Right? This is smart and sign language, I think. Flour, milk, Josie's coat of oats. But we're not going to put them in yet. We need a cutting board. And your little knife. You want to go grab your little knife? Oh, there it is. So we have artichoke hearts here that we had drying because they were frozen, and then we had ones in the jar. Now this is a little bit too big. It's definitely not bite-sized. So we're going to cut them in half. And if they're a little bit hard, yeah, they're really good. This is when I like to use a batter. Now this is what I wanted to talk to you about. I don't know why. Here, I got this. This one's a little bit hard. I don't know. Maybe I should keep it together. I'll keep that one together. So this is where you can decide, do you want to do the triple dip with the breadcrumb and everything, or do you want to do a batter? So I kind of wanted to show you both, but I don't know if we have time for both, do we? We have time for both or no? Because sometimes a batter is easy and it's what you need to get the job done quickly, and you don't have time for the triple dip. So it depends on really you. I'm going to get this ready. So with the batter, I take some of the Really Great Food Company all-purpose flour.
Well, that one was easy.
Don't cut them in half if they're hard, honey. I take a little bit of Josie's Coat of Oats breadcrumbs, so I'm going to kind of combine the two. I'm going to take a little bit of salt. Artichokes really don't have anything with them. And then I'm going to either use a flax egg or a chia egg, whatever you prefer. I'm going to use the flax one. And then I need my ice cold water. Sophia, do you know where my ice water went? I think it's on the tray over there. I'll grab it. Go grab it. Thank you, honey. Thank you, babe. All right, so I've got some ice cold water. I'm just going to pour some in here until it comes together. And if you wanted like a fluffy healthier batter, you could use a little bit of baking powder. And what I'm going to do is just a little bit more water, so about 1 cup of flour and about 3/4 of a cup of water, ice water. Sophia's cutting those artichokes nicely. Woo, there we go. A little bit more water. I need a little looser. Now this is easy to do when your guests get here. I'm going to turn this down. See, it's starting to smoke. This is easy to do when your guests get here, or you can have them ready-made to go, just like we did everything else. Have them in the freezer, and then you can just saute them when it's time. Hold on, honey. We need some oil. We're going to get some oil in here. Would you get the oil for Mommy, please? You can drop these in the fryer, or you can do them in the frying pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one. What's the matter? I'm going to roll it into the batter. Now I know you can't really see, but I'm going to try to just show you. You want to roll it around, right? Get it in there. And I'm just going to put it here for a second. You want to make sure it's all covered. What'd you say? Yeah. Just put a little bit in there because I want to just fry it up. Now I can drop it in the deep fryer and it'll be done quickly. Thank you. I'll do it.
Ooh, that's
Alright.
a lot more than a little
It's
bit.
not really a lot. You need kind of a lot more than that, but we're just going to do a few to show you.
Mom,
What, honey?
do
What?
we need any of the stuff back here?
No, not right now. So I'm just going to drop this into the hot oil.
Can I start toting the back
Not,
then?
yes, you could do that. And you could get a sheet and put them on a pan with plastic wrap. We're going to need one more pan with plastic wrap. You want to ask Daddy to get that for you?
Daddy, can you just
Gluten-free Dad's here to help save the day today. You just put on plastic wrap. Be careful. I don't want you to get...
Oh, wow.
Stay away.
Can you put it out?
No, because I'm going to turn it. The good thing is that you can get these into the fryer too. I'm going to show you one in the sauteed and one in the fryer. So I want to do both for you. Oh
You want
no.
to put this in the fryer?
No, not that one. Those ones I like to have done ahead of time. This one's falling apart. Thank you. Thanks.
Use this one. This one's good.
I got this one now. Thank you. Alright, so a little bit.
That one's falling apart too.
I know. I'm going to drop this right into the fryer and kind of pasted it together. These are really good when you freeze them. Get them really hard. And then you can dunk them in and they're not a problem. Anything that you want to fry, you really need to deep fry. If you want to deep fry, you really need to freeze it first. Otherwise, it's just going to kind of fall apart. Alright, so we've got our artichoke in here. I love fried artichokes, right? Gluten-free Grandma, you like them too? They're so delicious. And you can make a nice lemon butter caper sauce. No, there's cilantro. You can make a nice lemon butter sauce to dip in. Or you can dip it in a little bit of balsamic vinegar or whatever you decide, really. So we're just going to cook this for 2 to 3 minutes on each side. And if I would just leave it alone, it will cook all by itself. So we have the batter version, or we have the breading version, the triple dip. The triple dip, if you have someone like Sophia doing it, it takes no time at all. Right? You did a good job. Thank you. Sophia's doing a great job. And then we can toss those right into the freezer. So you can count out, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. And we have those. We also have quartered artichoke hearts that we got in a jar, which are very handy when you don't have the whole artichokes that you want to cut, or the ones that come in the freezer. We actually got these in a large number 10 can from the restaurant store, and we divided it up into baggies and froze them. Now, if I think about it, next time I get that bag, I'm going to lay them on a baking sheet and freeze them individually, then throw them into the plastic bag so that I have them ready to go when I want to make fried artichokes. That would be a good idea. Alright, Jeremiah, how's the mayonnaise sauce coming, alright? Okay. Alright, so we've got the one in the fryer, and we've got the one in the pan. So this is just showing you 2 techniques that you could do. We want to get it a little golden crispy. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. And these are great to eat just the way they are. They taste delicious. If you didn't want to do all of this, you could just kind of marinate them in a little bit of olive oil and vinegar and spices. You need more breadcrumbs? Okay. breadcrumbs. You'll have to have them on hand in the pantry. I really do suggest Josie's Coat of Oats because it is a product that's clean, very minimal ingredients, and also it comes from a family of people who have food allergies, and I tend to rather purchase from them than a company, say for instance, a big company that just is making the product to get into the gluten-free industry. I tend to not trust them so much, but that's just my personal preference. You guys can do whatever you want. If you've just started to go gluten-free, or you just got diagnosed with celiac disease or Hashimoto's or inflammatory bowel, stick around because we've got great recipes for you. We never want you to go hungry. We always want you to have something delicious to eat, and we really don't. We don't really miss anything. We don't miss out on. If there's something you can name, I want you to name it and tell me what you're missing, and we're gonna shoot you out the recipe for it because we know that we can make it for you. We have everything from fried calamari to
Fried
chicken
Oreos.
tenders to fried Oreos. Woo, watch out, baby. You have to put the top on a little bit. I don't want you to get burned. So the little bit of water in those artichokes is going to start popping. You want to be very careful. In the deep fryer, it's a little less of a problem. Alright, so I've got this one is done. I'm going to take that one out. This one's taking a little bit longer because I actually had it on 250, which you want to put on 375. You don't want to do that. And then, what are you saying about me? Gluten-free grandma and gluten-free dad are sitting over here. You talking about me?
No.
You sure?
Positive.
You just waiting to eat?
No.
You see this superwoman right here?
That's what we were talking about.
Then
She's incredible.
Assembly line, we said.
Yeah, you're gonna do the rest or no?
they're not okay.
You put a piece of plastic wrap on top and keep going.
Ooh, did I do that?
I got you. See when you have help in the kitchen? Not only does it make it so much more enjoyable, but it just makes the food so much more delicious because you see all of the love that went into it and those little hands working so hard. I love it. I love it, love it. Alright, so I've got this last artichoke I'm going to take out of here.
I need more milk.
Whoa.
My milk is drying up.
I'm going to let that sit. They look so similar, you're not going to be able to tell the
And I need
difference.
more
It's really just a preference.
Milk and breadcrumbs.
But I want to show you what we're going to do next. Because you know what? You can leave those like that. You can leave those like that.
You just said you wanted me to make more.
You're right, but I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do because we're gonna do a quick artichoke French
Let me do one more.
Gonna do one more. What I like to do is I never want to waste anything that's left over. I always just throw it all in there and fry something in it, whether it's onion rings or zucchini or something that we like. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all this leftovers. Sophie, you're gonna grab mommy the milk. I'm gonna just stir it all up in there. Oh, I've got a little bit of water. I'll put that in. And I'm gonna make a really loose batter, almost like a pancake batter. And this is gonna be a really quick French's. And Sophia's gonna get me the artichokes. I need maybe a little bit. Thank you. I want you to get mommy the artichokes, the capers, and the lemon, and the olive oil. So this is where you start to get speedy because this is something you can do very quickly when your guests arrive. You can do it ahead of time and then just warm it up in the oven. What, baby? Yeah. So I'm just going to dip and throw. I'm going to do one dip and throw.
Where's the lemon?
One dip and throw. They're in the basket over there, baby, I think. One dip and throw. Now there's no eggs, no dairy. No soy, no gluten. Are they in the basket with the oranges?
No.
Okay, then they're in the back room on top of the chips. On top of our big box of Benitos. So we have our gluten-free co-op now. We're able to get really delicious food for our gluten-free family. It's GFAB, so it's gluten-free and beyond.
Ooh, can I do one of those?
Yeah, go ahead, honey.
You just go.
Yep, and throw it in there. Now, if you wanted to, you can fry up your artichokes and then just saute them in the pan with all of this deliciousness that we're going to do. But for now, we're just going to show you the simple way to get them all in there. Do you have any more? So this is a little artichoke French's, and the batter is just a quick, light one like you see. Just throw it over there. There you go. And we're going to take this away. We're going to take that away.
Lemon.
And then, oh, I'll wait for this, Sophia. You're going to do that. Oh, what Sophia's going to do is she's just going to squeeze one lemon. Why don't you, first of all, could you take this away, babe, please? Thank you. All right, we have our capers, we have our olive oil, and Sophia's going to give us some lemon juice. We need lemon juice. The artichokes, can you cut on the cutting board, please? Thank you. Let's just wash this off real quick. We have some other shows that we did for Football Finger Foods. If you want to go back and check some of those out, you're going to have to squeeze it into a bowl or something.
Oh,
Here, you can use
I
this.
thought you wanted me to squeeze it onto it.
No, you can use that. We have a couple other episodes if you want to check out. I think it's Football Finger Foods 1 and 2. It was maybe last year or the year before. And we did a bunch of different really great recipes for you to have for your Super Bowl party. Yes, 1 whole lemon, please. Gluten-free Dad's here to help. Yay! How are the waves today?
Good.
Did you have fun?
Lots of fun.
Can you see?
I can see you.
You know, you have water, are you waterlogged at all?
No.
Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little bit more olive oil in our pan. And if you decide to go watch this over on YouTube or Facebook, you can see our above photo. Jeremiah will show you, what'd you say? No, first you got to clean this up. Alright, so we've got juice of 1 lemon. We got our artichokes in there. Here it is, right in front of me. I'm looking for my tongs, it's right in front of my face. I'm going to flip over some of the ones I can see that are done. This is a really easy recipe. This is even good with pasta or zucchini noodles. With this, be yummy. For a nice fresh pasta dish. I'm going to put the top on for a minute. And I'm going to turn it up to about almost 400. So let it go. Sophia, you're going to take out for us some of our things we can fry. Because it's almost time to eat. Yeah, my favorite time of the day. Alright, hold on. So here's our artichokes. You cannot tell the difference. One was deep fried and one was fried in the pan. Oh, I just want to take a bite. I love that. I love artichokes. I'm going to take this other one. I'll just toss it in there later. So what we have here is a party going on, right? We have our footballs. We put these away. We have our mozzarella sticks. Can't see that. And we have our footballs. We have our mozzarella sticks. We have our hot dogs covered in our pie crust. We want to call them pigs in a blanket, but gluten-free Dad said no. No pigs in a blanket, right? They're not pigs in a blanket. Jeremiah, you okay, Bubby? Check on the muddy knot sauce, please. Thank you. So I'm going to toss some of these into the deep fryer. I'm going to do about, what do we have, 4 or 5 people here? Delicious, right? I'm going to do 4.
I ate the one that you were eating.
I'm going to do 4, 5. Mozzarella sticks we're going to do last because you really have to keep an eye on those because they'll blow up. And like we know from being in the restaurant business, we've had a lot of blowouts with the mozzarella sticks. We don't want that to happen with ours because they're like little bits of gold and we want them to eat them in our mouth. A minute. We don't want to lose them. Did you check the muddy knot sauce, honey?
Yes.
Is it cooking all right? All right, so we're going to actually get started on our plating because what we have is a quick fried food. These, we can actually bake these in the oven on 375 if we wanted to, if like the fryer's taken up or you want to just get your hands free, bake them in the oven, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to just keep frying up stuff as we need to. What are you doing to Mommy? You ate my artichoke? She's hiding back there eating artichokes. Stay away from the fryer though, baby, okay? Alright, so I'm just going to flip these over. I want them to get a little bit brown. And then I'm going to add that lemon juice. No, it's okay. You can eat it. Go ahead. Once you see the bottom starting to get a little bit brown, flip it over. So, want to see our little bit brown bottoms there? Alright, I've got this one I'm going to turn over. Now, I really should not be using this metal one on my pan, but I'm trying to be very careful. Yeah, if you would, please. Thank you. Alright, we have our footballs and our little mini hot dogs in the fryer. We have our artichokes sauteing right here. We have our mozzarella sticks on board, ready to go. Now we have to get our dipping sauces ready and our fennel. No, we don't need that yet. That's last. Get the fennel. Get the fennel, please. Alright, Jeremiah, would you give me that that plate with the without blue? Without the blue. The one underneath that, yeah.
Why do you have to be so messy, Hannah?
Alright, so one of our favorite places to go is a produce junction. They do not have a lot of organic stuff, but if you can sweat the small stuff, don't go there. This is fennel. Look how beautiful this is. So we wanted to give you a nice fresh option for your football party. And we love to have, this is called fenouil in Italian. We love to have this a little bit. Sophia likes to have it just in the bowl. Now what I will tell you is keep the fronds because they're great for soup. They're great for sauteing. This right here, thank you. Yeah, not yet. That's for the mozzarella sticks. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. So what we do here is we create little pieces of fennel that we could dip. And Sophia's going to show you how we make the sauce. Why don't you show them how we make the dressing?
Oh, okay.
All right, go ahead. The dressing is very simple. It's light and delicious. I like to mix both.
Okay, and oil.
Our footballs are in there. They're doing really good. They're starting to float up. She's got 2 vinegars. She can talk you through it.
Okay.
And I've got a little bit of.
Hi.
Come over here, honey. Okay.
That's balsamic and aged red. Aged red wine
Vinegar.
We have Di La Rosa balsamic vinegar of Modena. This is PGI, which means it's proprietary area of Modena, Italy, and that's exactly where the good balsamic comes from. And then we have a nice, we have a nice red wine vinegar, and this is from Italy also. And
This helps you digest your food.
Right. So this is what I wanted to tell you. You're having all of this stuff. You want to make sure you have something fresh and that helps you digest all of it instead of getting like a really heavy stomach for football finger foods. The fennel is delicious. Oh, you okay? Did you try it?
Mm-hmm.
You like it? You need, Sophie, you
It
need
doesn't
salt.
really taste like anything.
That's what the dressing's for. You put oil. Do I need
Yep.
salt? I need salt.
Salt, pepper, and the 2 vinegars. And then gluten-free grandma has some fresh oregano. That's enough, honey.
Put oil.
It's a natural version of a digestive cracker.
Sure. See, you put some vinegar. Ooh.
Our footballs and our hot diggity dogs are doing really great in our fryer. About 5 to 7 minutes in there and they'll be done nice and golden brown.
That's not good.
Our artichokes are nice and crisp now. We're going to add the olive oil, lemon juice, and capers while those guys get their dressing ready. Jeremiah, can I have the olive oil? You can also add butter if you can have dairy. But if you want to keep this vegan, don't do it. Just do the olive oil. Adding the lemon juice. You're going to add a little salt and pepper. Beautiful. Do you have pepper for me?
No.
Jeremiah, can I have the pepper, please? I'm going to just toss this a little bit. Oh, that is smelling good.
That's not going to work, is it?
Yeah, that's perfect.
No.
Gluten-free grandma has some fresh oregano. Why don't you get that?
Oregano. Oregano.
Oregano.
Oregano.
Pinch of pink and land. Pink.
Watch the fryer, baby.
Sorry. It doesn't stir.
Got some more fennel for you. Take that off of the dish.
I told you it doesn't stir.
Thank you, Gluten-Free Grandma.
Oh, the salt looks like it has sparkles.
Does it really?
Yeah, the salt looks like the dip has
Can I have that? Like the shrimp fry diablo dish, Mom, the big one? Yeah. Our artichoke franchise is done. We're going to actually take this off.
Now you just dip
And put this on.
the fennel.
Sophia's got, she loves her fennel. Gluten-Free Grandma likes that too, right? Love that fennel.
Slowly.
Artichoke's done. I'm going to just pour it out into our dish. Maybe I can't do that.
What
Yes,
is
honey.
this? Is this oregano?
No, that's pepper.
Oh, there it is. We got oregano and parsley, right?
Yeah, good. This smells
Probably
so
grind it up.
delicious. You might not be able to use your toothpicks for this, but you'll definitely get a good yum in your mouth. Okay, there's our artichokes. My mouth is watering. I hope you guys BYON, because my mouth, I'm drooling. Oh my goodness. Our footballs and our sausages are done. Jeremiah, we can take this out of the way.
Fennel's delicious. Just saying.
We've got a nice addition of the fresh fennel. We've got our artichoke franchise. We're going to get our footballs out. And then last but not least, we're going to do our mozzarella sticks.
Mom, what?
Wow. Jeremiah's going to get us our marinade sauce. And I'm going to throw some of these in the fryer.
Mama, this?
Yeah, that's good.
Do you want me to put gluten?
Put the mozzarella sticks in there, and we'll get a little bowl for the marinade sauce. How about this? Put some marinade sticks in there. Put our mozzarella sticks in here. This stuff we're gonna take away. Gluten-free. Dad, can you take that away for us? I'm gonna just add a little bit of pepper to our artichokes because I didn't get to do that before, and I want to make sure we get a nice flavor of salt and pepper on there. I'm gonna have to taste that. I don't think I can wait any longer. I really want one of those. Let's see. She's gonna like that. That's for sure. All right, we've got our pasta sauce. We have our fresh fennel with oil and vinegar. You want to give me that other plate? Where's the other long one? Did I use it already? Oh, I'll go.
You had this one.
Sophie, you want to make our chipotle mayo?
Sure.
All right, get the mayo out. Get the mayo out. Now we're going to use one of those seasonings that Serious Foodie sent us. All right? We've got our hot dogs and our footballs. This would be like a funny joke because these look like footballs, these look like soccer balls.
Which one?
So what kind of football are you going to be watching this weekend? This one or this one?
Okay. I need a little bowl, please.
You want to use that?
Because that's chipotle.
So we have our Just Mayo. And I'm going to keep an eye on our... Oh, we lost a few of our sticks.
Mama.
Explosion. Explosion. I said to watch them and I didn't watch them. Yeah, we could do that. And I lost them. So don't do what I just did. You don't want to lose your mozzarella sticks because they're too precious. And I lost a whole bunch of them. What a bummer. Just make sure you freeze them before you use them. Otherwise they're going to explode just like ours did.
Jeremiah wants to use this.
So you want to really give them a chance to cool. You want to use that to dip? Okay, sounds good to me. So what we're going to do is, Sophie, why don't you tell them about what you have in your hand, please? Fig and orange.
Big and orange. Marinade.
Marinade. Alright, so we're going to put a scoop of our Just Mayo into a bowl. I also have a cashew ranch that we made. It's just soaked cashews, and we soak them overnight, and then we blend them up in the food processor, and they're a perfect base for any kind of creamy dressing that you want, whether it's a ranch dressing. a dip for your veggies, something to dip your little football finger foods in, anything like that. Oh, look at this. We have the remnants of a mozzarella stick. It's so upsetting. I didn't freeze them first. That's why this happened. So all that stuff has to go back in the freezer. So this goes to show you, you have to follow the steps if you want fantastic football finger foods. Otherwise, you're going to have slop in your fryer and you're going to be very, very upset. So Sophia, you're going to put maybe a teaspoon of that in there and mix it up, Jeremiah. This is the fig and orange Southern Italian grill sauce and marinara. And it has in it balsamic vinegar, fig, white balsamic vinegar reduction, a little bit of sugar, sunflower oil, orange juice, shallots, sea salt, black pepper, thyme, and lemon juice. It's gluten-free. And it's also, I think it says it's vegan on here. Did I see that? Vegetarian, all natural, yep. So what we're going to do is get that mixed up. You need more? That's yummy. I think you're going to have a nice little feast with your fennel. With the both of them, oil and vinegar. Did you put salt and pepper in here?
I put salt, I didn't put pepper.
I'm going to need more salt and a little bit more pepper.
What's that?
Definitely need salt and pepper in your dip. It's kind of like the dip you would get if you went to an Italian restaurant and they put it on the table. It's like one of those dips. So you got to mix it up before you take a bite. Make sure your fennel is fresh. Alright. Last but not least, it is time. Sophia, it's come time to pass out the napkins. It is time to have a little bite of everything. This is the fun part about football finger foods. Get a little bit of everything. Here, why don't you guys make a plate? Jeremiah, make a plate. Gluten-free Dad, you want to have a plate? Sophia, how about you pass out the napkins first? Gluten-free Dad, we're going to give him a little bit of everything. You need a little spoon for this. You make sure you have spoons for your dips, and if you have to, you need to label everything. Give a football and a soccer ball a little bit of that dip. And we'll pass that over to Gluten-Free Dad for a little snack. Gluten-Free Grandma, are you ready?
I am.
Gluten-Free Grandma, we'll give her 2 artichokes, I think. We'll give you 2 artichokes.
That's good.
We'll give you 1 mozzarella stick because we know you're not
Taste that.
so
I know
much
I
of
did.
that. We'll do a football for Gluten-Free Grandma. Should we dip it?
It's really good, this stuff.
Good. And she can come back for a sausage. Everybody have a napkin? Why do I have a spoon?
Oopsie.
What am I going to do with the spoon? I don't think I need a plate. I'm just going to go straight for it. I've got a mozzarella stick. I'm going to dunk. Soft. A little crunchy on the outside.
Oh, that's good.
Very soft on the inside. Can I have a football? I already had one of the hot dogs on Friday. I love that crunchy outer. Now, this recipe came from a woman that my husband used to work with, a Japanese woman, right? How long did she sew for the Navy? Like 40 years? 30 years? No, she was a seamstress or a sewing fabric technician for the Navy for many, many years. And she used to make these delicious footballs, they're called, and all this wonderful food that she used to send to us. And she used to let us try it, and she would give me the recipes. So this was a little bit of an alteration from that recipe. She did cover it with a little bit of dough, and then she would fry it. It's good. All right. So,
That was the cake one.
what was your favorite thing so far, Sophia?
I haven't tried anything.
Jeremiah, what about you? You tried everything, didn't you, except for this?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's artichoke. You want to try one?
Mm.
With lemon juice on it. You
Delicious.
like that? Try a bite. Just try it. Make sure you do it over your plate in case you're going to spit it out. We don't want to see that. I love the artichokes. And these kind of are a little bit of a finger food. It just tastes very lemony and delicious. That little light batter on the top of it. You want to try that? You didn't try it yet?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a bite of this.
Sophia's gonna love this. The artichokes are really great. They don't look as beautiful as the other things may look, but they really taste super delicious. And they're really a nice light addition to all the fried things that you have.
Pretty good. Now I've tried everything.
We have the delicious fennel. Jeremiah, what do you like the best so far?
I like the hot dog with that.
The hot dog with the fig mayo.
It doesn't taste like that, but it's delicious.
It's delicious. Sophia, what about you? What's your
It
favorite?
tastes like chocolate
Does it?
with a
Fennel?
little tang to it.
Sophia's favorite is just the fennel with the olive oil and the sausage with the fig.
Oh, that's.
Gluten-free grandma, what's your favorite so far?
I didn't try this, but I love that.
What's that? The gluten-free grandma's pointing to the artichokes. Gluten-free dad, what about you? What's your favorite so far?
Artichokes.
Artichokes are gluten-free dad's favorite. Now that's a shocker. I for surely thought he was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say the footballs or the hot dogs.
They're good.
But you like the artichokes the best.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed the football finger foods for today. Yeah, gluten-free grandma, you like that one? Thank you, Jeremiah, for all your help. Thank you for making that marinade sauce. Thank you, Sophia, for all your help. And thank you guys for tuning in today. We hope we're going to feed you well because gluten-free grandma has a really big mess to clean up today. We are in big trouble today. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we hope you enjoyed the show. Tune in next week. I think we'll be celebrating the Chinese New Year with a special recipe for you. And as we just keep eating, we want you guys to come, taste, and see how good it is to be gluten-free. Ciao. Ciao. Thank you, baby, for helping mommy.
Aprons by REM Designs. Clothing by Chanel, Bloomingdale's, AG Jeans, and Doc Martens. Hair by Satnique, makeup by Artistry. Follow us on livestream, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and YouTube at ABC Gluten Free. Thank you to our pantry partners and fridge friends. ABC Gluten Free is a production of American Buys.
God bless everybody. Have a delicious weekend. Ciao.